Aloha and welcome back once again to another Paradigm Shift Central Conscious Media Co-op production meeting for Wednesday, February 6th, 2019. Of course, this is Brendan, and what we're doing here as part of the project, for those of you who may be entirely new to these production meetings, this is kind of the behind the scenes of the content creation process, which feeds awesome community content into the Paradigm Shift Central website, as well as working together as a team of people who are actively creating conscious media to be able to share some tips, some inspiration, some updates, and just beyond that, being able to connect together and grow as a community. So, of course, we are joined by fellow shifters. We have Erica, Rick, Jenna, and Matthew in the broadcast, in the recording right now. So, for everyone here, please feel free to say aloha to everyone who's tuned into this and go ahead and give them a nice warm welcome. So,
Bon dia.
Aloha, beautiful beings of light.
welcome. Cool. Awesome. All right. So, like I said, I want to be able to keep this broadcast rolling and really just like optimizing the amount of time that we have within the day. So, in terms of updates, what we're going to be talking about, of course, is the official launch of the new website, which is now up and active. And of course, if people just go to paradigmshiftcentral.com, that will link them to the new website, which is technically nexus.paradigmshiftcentral.com for the time being until we change that URL. And so, right now on the website, we do have about 6 shifter entries online. The most recent one is the chakra video lecture, Understanding the Chakras. It's a 2-hour video lecture that we posted online, and I'm really excited to be able to have things up and running. And now from here, the tactic is essentially just being able to drive traffic to the website and getting people familiar with the routine of new content being posted, and for them just to be able to get excited about the value that it is that we are generating together as a community. So in terms of the next steps from my own end of things, for myself, it's really important for me to be able to optimize my routines and my schedules, and to really be able to correlate this in terms of posting to Instagram, as well as just being able to manage things within the project here in general. So essentially, what my part of my job right now is literally to focus on creating good quality Instagram content, which is going to be driving people into my Instagram and through there into my bio link, as well as the swipe up feature within the stories, which is going to help lead people to the website and also to your guys' content. And I'll be giving you guys shout outs and so forth throughout the week, and including individual stories for like featured videos and so forth. So one of the things that I want to be able to share with everyone that's really been helping me, and I really do recommend that everybody on the team use this and set it up, and I'll help you set it up in the future, is the website notion.so, Notion.so, Notion. And this is something I mentioned in the previous production meetings, but recently over the past few days, I've really set up my own Notion. And so basically Notion is like online, it's within your browser, but it can also be launched as a separate app on your desktop and as well as an app on your mobile. And it's very flexible, but it essentially lets you create a combination of calendars, lists, tables, spreadsheets, and general documents that you can categorize in like sections and subcategories and sub pages that can be incredibly useful for just being able to organize your thoughts, being able to organize your creative process, being able to create checklists for things that you're doing throughout your day-to-day life. And just being able to have that handy is an incredible game changer, because basically, like for all of us here, we have so much to do throughout the day, and if we don't have like some sort of external agenda written out in front of us or in our hands as a mobile device or on our computer screen, it can be very straining for the brain to be able to keep track of every single thing that we're trying to do during the day. It's just kind of, instead of actually having like a full out game plan, it's just kind of like you do something and then it's just like, okay, what do I gotta do next? And then you're just like, okay, that's something, and then you just do it, but you're not really thinking like a couple steps ahead. It's almost just like you figure out what the next thing is you got to do, and then you do it, and then as soon as you're done that, you're like, okay, what do I need now? Oh yeah, I have to eat, I haven't eaten yet, and then you do that. For myself, one of the things that I've created within Notion is literally just a daily checklist with also time frames. So for myself, at 7 a.m., I wake up and do and record my dreams. And underneath that, I have more things checklist. I also do light stretches, and I do my rising journal. At 7:30, I walk my dog while listening to inspirational media. I publish my first Instagram post. I get breakfast and lunch ready. At 9 a.m., I do the Waking Up with Wolf broadcast, which we actually just did today, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. At 9:30, I'm publishing a shifter entry. Again, this is going to be a little flexible. I'm going to change this over time. By about 10 a.m., I'm publishing my second Instagram post if I have it ready, and then I also have a little bit of free time there. And then at 11 a.m., we have our co-op meeting, which we're in right now. How meta. And then by 12:30, which is by the time that the production meeting is over, then I have that scheduled time for like working on assignments, videos, entry, anything else that I need to work on, Instagram posts. And then I also have my midday journal. By 3:30 on some days, we're going to be doing our additional broadcast, which I actually want to do today. And again, I'm going to mention this. This is going to be, let me just go through this. And then by 4 p.m., I'm walking my dog and I'm taking a nap if I need to afterwards. I'm working out, taking a cold shower, eating dinner. And then by 6 p.m. plus, I'm working on posting a third Instagram post. And ideally, at some of these posts, I would have ready ahead of time. And just working on decompressing, rewarding myself is something that's on my list. Doing my evening journal, reading before bed, meditating before bed. And then by 10 p.m., begin getting ready for sleep and go to sleep no later than 11 p.m. And that routine is what I'm creating right now. I'm still going to fluctuate it, but for me, it's like very efficient. I'm making sure that I'm like getting things that I need to get done, organizing things, and just keeping on track. And so that's something that I think all of us would incredibly benefit from. It's just having something as simple as a checklist. Beyond that, on Notion, it can get far, far deeper. And so I have like subcategories, including for my content creation, where I'm just like posting notes and I have like different files for different projects that I'm working on. Instead of just using files on my desktop, I have another category for my content curation, which is keeping track of my publication for shifter entries throughout the week. Part of that is actually going to be public to the team. So you're going to see this in the next near future, where you'll be actually able to see the same calendar, where you'll be able to see like what entries are getting published and when, and which entries are currently being worked on and the status of them. So there's also like kind of like a roadmap where you can see something that will stand as a document would be labeled as a project. So it'd be like projects. So, you know, like my VR meditations, and then it could be labeled as either like in progress or like complete, or technically it would be like not started, in progress, complete. And then so I would be able to see like what that status is. But again, that project could be something that one of you guys is working on that we just have entered in there. And then again, I also have my under my curation, I also have my Instagram weekly routines, and then lots of other notes. And also even for finances, it's very effective. There's like a simple spreadsheet where as I'm purchasing things throughout the day, you know, I'm just entering it in, and it helps me keep track of how much money I'm spending a month. So that is like a huge improvement for me. We're also going to be able to include the production notes from these broadcasts into the team Notion, which again I'll be setting up, and that'll be available through the co-op members, the co-op Conscious Media co-op members area within the main website. So under the main website, when you go to the more button, you'll see co-op members area. When you click on that, once I have it set up, that will actually be able to show you the production notes as well as the project roadmap and the schedule and the routine. So very, very powerful stuff. So again, notion.so. Check it out, start playing around with it. Go to like YouTube, other YouTubers and just type in like Notion tips and tricks and start looking at it, and it'll take a little bit of a learning curve. Start off very simple, but again, it can be very, very powerful, and I'm going to be helping each of you get something like that set up, because that's also going to help your own optimization as well as the ability for you to be able to show up even more effectively as a member of the co-op. So moving on, I want to just be able to mention real quick that as for myself, part of the routine that I'm getting into is, again, you know, it's about creating in like meaningful Instagram content, but really it's also about developing the relationship. It's about developing the relationship between myself and the audience and the community, developing the ongoing story. And so part of what I've begun doing, and this was something that I mentioned in the previous production meetings, is that I've begun doing my daily morning broadcast, which is a morning meditation and energy body exercise, which is only a less than 30-minute broadcast, which I am calling Waking Up with Wolf. So we literally just did one this morning. I was able to set things up as a test run where I was literally broadcasting to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube simultaneously with success, and I'll be able to show some of you how to actually do that. It requires 2 devices though. Like you literally need like 2 iPhones if you have them. So fortunately, like my mom has an extra iPhone, so that's why I was able to do this, and I was like broadcasting from hers and then using my iPhone to use another app called Omelet, OMELET, which again I'll post up for, and if you connect that to your Facebook and your YouTube, you can rebroadcast your Instagram. So that's very, very powerful and something I would invite more of you to play around with if you're at that point where you're ready to. And so that's something that I'm doing every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday to Friday. And again, that's not only for the community, but it's also for myself. Literally just a practice of getting up in the morning, doing a little bit of exercise, talking a little bit, getting myself in alignment, and then doing the mantra exercises, which correlates to the chakra presentation that we already have online. So like even during today's broadcast, I was telling people like, oh, okay, like go watch the video on the main website to be able to get more insight on why this practice is important for us. So moving along, the other broadcast that we're going to be getting into, in addition to the team roundtable this Thursday, which is going to be focusing on the importance of creating conscious media, is also doing the broadcast, which right now I'm thinking of doing it Mondays and Wednesdays at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I literally want to try doing it today. And this was originally, you heard me calling this, the title I originally had was Shooting the Shift. And I kind of said like that was a temporary title. The title that I'm working with right now is Leading the Shift. So literally like that's the title, Leading the Shift. And it's basically going to be like a short 20-minute broadcast where I'm bringing in one person at a time to be able to talk on camera about the ways that like they're helping shift consciousness. So it would only be a short like kind of a little interview, but also more just like a chit chat. And it would be an opportunity for us members of the co-op, like you guys would have first dibs on that to be able to be like, hey, like I want to volunteer to be on Leading the Shift today. And if we have the spot open, you can jump in on that and you can talk about, you know, the things that you're working on, and that becomes promotion to be able to invite people back to you, as well as being able to have that slot open to general community members as the routine continues to develop. So somebody who I can just kind of like grab on the fly can kind of jump in and just be like, yeah, you know, like I'm working on an awesome community project and this is what I'm doing. And so again, this is building routine, building momentum, building relationship between ourselves and the community. So very, very exciting stuff. So other than that, the other thing that we're getting into right now is the regular routine of posting shifter entries. Ideally, we want to have a new shifter entry posted every day. Right now, we're taking things slow, but we are going to eventually get up to that as we begin to develop a catalog. So for everyone here, encouraging you, if you haven't yet on the main website, to take a look under the members area and you'll see the category for shifter assignment prompts, and you can start getting some ideas in there. And that was something I talked about last broadcast, where it talks about the different styles of videos and articles that you can create, be it like subject interviews, inspirational pump up videos, poetry, event interviews, meditation videos, so things of that nature. So again, whenever you're getting ready to post something that you want to have as a shifter entry to the website, check with me first. Just check with me first. Let me know what it is. And if I feel it's a good fit, then I'll give you the go ahead to move forward with it. And again, once you have it ready to publish to the website, always save to draft and make sure that you include a small write-up if it's a video, or if it's an article, then have it at least like about like a 3 or 4 5-minute read. At least it can be a little bit longer. And yeah, again, I'll answer questions based on that as we kind of go through it. But at this point, we are beginning to build the catalog of content to be able to post to the website, and you'll actually be seeing that organized through Notion, as I mentioned earlier, which is helping me do that, where I can literally kind of see like, okay, what's coming up in the pipeline, what do we have that's currently in the works, where can I move things in terms of the schedule, and yeah, it's going to be like flowing pretty effectively. So that's where the project is at right now. Again, website is launched, bringing people to the website through Instagram posts and other platforms as well, getting into the regular routine of doing these broadcasts every morning, as well as the Leading the Shift broadcast. And then this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be our Paradigm Shift Team Roundtable. And again, inviting other people to join into that broadcast. And we're going to be talking about the importance of creating conscious media. So if you're around for that, please feel free to be able to let me know ahead of time. So other than that, I want to be able to pass the talking stick around the circle. We're going to keep this broadcast finish it by 12 p.m. and that's Eastern Standard Time. And to begin going around the circle, I just want to be able to hear from individual people in terms of updates on their Instagram content, their YouTube videos, and their shifter entries. So really focusing on like what content it is that you're creating, or what content you are planning to create. And if you even have like any sort of short questions that you want to be able to get some feedback on that I'll be able to assist you with, please feel free to communicate that. So if we want to begin passing around the circle, if someone here wants to unmute themselves, we will pass it over. And also, even just with what I've communicated so far, please feel free to just like let me know how you feel about that. if it makes sense, if you have any questions, give me some feedback. Let me know if it sounds like it's like pretty hype, because it is pretty hype. So, and yeah, your feedback is appreciated on that. So give me 1 second here as I just click a couple things here. All right, so if someone wants to unmute themselves to be able to share a bit about their updates in terms of the content creation, please feel free to unmute themselves now, and we will pass the talking stick over to you. So whoever wants to go first, please feel free to do that, and we'll pass it over to Rick first. All right, so aloha, Rick. Welcome.
Aloha. Thank you so much. Working a little bit on the content for the website, Paradigm Shift Central, just updating as we had discussed, utilizing a video with Brandon Bozarth and Nathaniel Salas. My intent today is to complete an introduction, just a little short summary and create that post to that as an initial launch or contribution for Paradigm Shift Central. Personally, what am I doing? I put a post out yesterday. The weekly show that I've been doing on Live Masters TV has been just increasingly getting better and better every week. Like this, yes, last night I was surprised. It had 1,100 viewers on Facebook, and with my interview with Jocelyn Burke, and it was a smash. I mean, I think we really revealed a lot of esoteric, secret wisdom knowledge utilizing NLP, and it really connected and resonated with a lot of people that we wouldn't otherwise, more mainstream, and it was good. So we're penetrating the market that way. What I'm leaning to do now is do another broadcast during the week, and so I put a call to action out in my Instagram, requesting just a thought process on times of day, what people might want, during the middle of the week, and then my intent is to broadcast live over YouTube and Instagram simultaneously using that Lula TV as you suggested. So that's been really good. And then following up on the introduction. So all of the stuff that you laid out is incredible. I mean, you've given me basically a to-do list. And so I've like the awakening story. So I've already posted that to my YouTube. And I've got a lot of content that I've already created. So utilizing a lot of the Facebook Live stuff that I've done already, a lot of the videos that I've done collectively over the last year. And now it's just a matter of getting it organized and putting it into a format that, keeps people educated, entertained, and, engaged. And what was the word? Finish that for me, because there was 3 terms that you use and consistently. And what were those terms, Brendan?
Inspirational, educational, and entertaining.
Yeah, inspirational, educational, and entertaining. Okay, so the inspiration part, that's like inherent. So that's my intent. Those are my motivations. That's what I feel inspired to do, and I just thank you for the opportunity to do it here in such a wonderful, beautiful, supportive group. So thank you again.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you, Rick, for that update. That's a beautiful update. And yeah, again, one of the things that you talked about there, the idea that I just want to emphasize for everyone else is that, in terms of content, for anybody listening to this, if you already have like a video that you made like a few months ago or even a year ago that you feel is like something that still really represents you well and something that you still feel fits the criteria of being inspirational, entertaining, and educational, you can still publish that to the website as a shifter entry. It does not have to be something that is entirely new, but if it is something that fits the criteria that we want to be able to help feature, then all you have to do is be able to republish that as a shifter entry, and we can help curate it. So like that's kind of like one of the beauties of what it is that we are creating, is that we allow time to kind of fold in on itself, where basically everything old becomes new again in that sense. And so yeah, I know for Rick, I'll be able to let me know as you get something ready for review as a draft online, and just to keep everyone in check on On the team Discord, again, if you are looking on the left hand side in terms of the channels, you'll see the entry creation flow. If you go to ready for review, use that channel to be able to let me know when you have something ready for review. Either post like an image or a graphic or a text right to there, or if you have an entry that is already saved to draft, then just let me know and that will prompt me to be able to go and look at it. And again, Rick, congratulations on the success so far with Live Masters TV interviews. I think you've been really hitting it out of the park with that, and again, being able to get the interview with Brandon and Nathaniel as a first shifter entry. Looking forward to being able to help share that. And yeah, it's great to hear that you've been finding like other ways to be able to help multicast, and I still want to be able to explore like options that we have there that will be able to just like help optimize that even more. So Rick mentioned the idea of using Loola TV. For any of you who haven't checked that out, LOOLA.TV. That's an app that lets you broadcast from your desktop to your Instagram and also to your YouTube at the same time. So again, another option there that I recommend people check out. So yeah, I think Rick, that's a awesome update. And yeah, again, if there's more questions and feedback, we can always just like catch up on the side as well. So thank you again, Rick. All right, let's keep passing the talking stick around. So whoever would like to go next, please feel free to unmute themselves and we will pass the talking stick over to you. And that next person will be either Matthew Manders or Erica. And whoever's ready. And even if, honestly, even if you're just like, hey, I don't have a lot of updates to share, that's totally cool too. Like, even if you just want to check in and say hi. All right, so Erica, if you're ready, we'll pass it over to you. And
Cool.
welcome,
Yeah.
Erica. Go ahead.
Thank you for holding space. Yeah, so I I definitely am still working on I mean, like I know that with like the kind of content that I want to create for like my Instagram is falls under the category of more like something to do with dancing, and like probably the way I want to work it out is like do a little dancing and tie a message to it. You know what I mean? Like I have like my little structure, but I definitely now have to get back to okay, like where do I even start? Because I've been not gonna lie, totally I'm feeling like a little bit of an imbalance because I've been focusing so much on one side of things and trying to get things going. And so keeping it completely transparent, I've been slacking on the other things like AKA, the content side of things and like Instagrams and, certain kinds of posts and like the stuff that I really also want to focus on is just finding the balance has been really tough for me. Really just getting back to what kind of message is it like what is it like that I'm trying to put out like with my classes and stuff like that. Like really I'm all about having people, feel better than what they did when they came in. Really that's what it all comes down to. I love the media medicine idea, and so kind of like taking that and embodying that same idea with everything that I do, with the content that I put out and stuff like that. Trying to really get a little organized. I love the Notion thing that you just mentioned, by the way. I love the synchronicity of everything. Like this morning, I woke up, boom, it's like you gave me what I needed, boom, you gave me something else that I was like, oh, okay, perfect. Like the wizard post that you posted about like literally you show up when you need to and you leave when you need, like literally, Brandon, every time you come about, for me it's just like you drop a freaking important ass nugget that was missing, that I was just like, oh well, there's that fucking missing puzzle piece. Thanks. But organization and time has been a big thing because I live an hour away from the studio, so I've lost a lot of time driving back and forth, and definitely feeling a little overwhelmed with certain things. And so reminding myself that, hey, even though I might feel like I'm falling back or whatever, like not beating myself up about it and focusing on what I am getting done. And then realizing like, hey, it's never too late. Pick up where you left off, So getting back to that content creation of posting on Instagram, whether it's, a small little 1 minute, or 2 minute something, and then just sharing that same exact thing to my YouTube that, I also have. It doesn't even have to be, separate content and stuff. I think just allowing myself to practice, and not kind of feeling like, oh no, I can't practice. It's got to be perfect. That mentality, like I'm working on it. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Erica, for that beautiful update. And yeah, like again, I totally hear you on the idea that like yeah, you got a lot to focus on right now, but it doesn't mean that it's like impossible, right? Like I think you can kind of begin to see where it's just like okay, like there's a way to do this, there's a way to manage this, but it just involves like making sure that I have something as simple as that checklist, making sure that I'm like meeting these certain standards each and every single day while doing it in a way that's practical for you and for your schedule. And yeah, there's going to be days where like things might kind of, you know, go unexpectedly, but you almost like work that into your schedule as well. So but just having those guidelines can be incredibly useful for you. And with your studio, I love the idea of you just saying that, you know, you're helping people feel better than what they did when they came in. There's something that I was reflecting on over the weekend, and I was talking to Rick about this on Monday. It wasn't recorded, but it was a very, very powerful idea because, you know, I was like, and this is something I want all of us to reflect on. You know, it was basically like, okay, like, what am I doing? I'm like, okay, like, who am I? I'm a leader. Like, I am a leader. I can say that. And I'm just like, okay, you know, like, I'm a leader of this project. I'm a leader of community and everything like that, as all of us are here in our own way, and allow me to paint this bigger picture. But then the next question was what was really important. I was basically just like thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, if I'm a leader, where am I leading people to? And like this question, I'm just like, ooh, like okay, like that's a good question. Where am I leading people to? Like that's what leaders do. You lead people to somewhere. And so even in that moment, I was like, okay, like obvious answer is the right answer, but I still had to think about it for a while. And you can understand, like, okay, if a leader doesn't know where they're leading people to, like is that like, you know, like what's going on there, right? Like that can be a little that like yeah, sure, you're figuring things out as you go, but you need to have some understanding of where you're leading people to. Otherwise you're just like leading them into like an abyss, like off a cliff, like into the desert unknowingly, like, you know. So for me, the answer to that question, the simple answer that totally just like painted the picture, was the answer of where am I leading people to? I am helping lead people back to their own heart. And like once I kind of sat with it, I'm like, yes, that's the true answer, right? Like it's not like this like external destination or some sort of future event or something like that. You're literally leading people inwards. And I'm like, oh, like that's so deep, and that like resonates with me so much. And I'm like, suddenly that makes so much sense, right? Because like now everything that I do can actually fit into that context. And so that's where even for you, Erica, and for everyone here, you know, like think about that. Like where are you leading people to? And when they come into your studio and they're dancing and they're experiencing these classes, evidently you are helping them lead themselves back to their own heart. And so I think just like sitting with that idea can actually just sort of help you understand how even like every single post that you put up on Instagram is contributing to that. Every single event that you host, every single time that you show up in front of people, you have that in the back of your mind. And like that in itself, it kind of alleviates some of the pressure, because instead of being like, oh my God, like I'm trying to lead them into a very specific future where, you know, like all these things are going to be fixed or something like that. Like, yeah, that's a noble vision. But the true way how to get to even to those noble visions is the same answer of leading people back to the heart. And then everything else kind of like fractals out of that. It's all holographic. So just kind of sitting with that. So yeah, Erica, thank you again for the update. And yeah, absolutely. I think even for you, I'm excited to be able to see that with a slight additional adjustment to having Notion could totally just like change your entire productivity overall. So I think literally after this broadcast, I'm actually going to probably live stream or do like a recording where I'm gonna like walk everyone through a bit of a tutorial on setting up their Notion, because like the sooner you get that set up, even very simply, like the sooner you'll start be able to use it. And like I want you to be able to use it literally tomorrow and to begin noticing the effects of that. So yeah, Erica, just checking back in with you. Does that idea of like leading people back to their own heart, how does that
Most
yeah?
definitely, yes. I love that. And I love that it's not just like one thing. It's like I love that you said how it alleviates things, even just showing up, having that in the back of my mind. Like, yeah, completely. Thank you for that. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. And again, please feel free to like share that. and like even pass that on to like other light workers who may be kind of stressing themselves out, and as we often do. But yeah. So Erica, just to confirm, you haven't set up Notion yet, have you? Or like, have you come across it? Have you looked at it yet?
I literally, you mentioned it. I went on the thing and so I haven't even
Okay,
set up an
perfect.
account, nothing to it. So I'll
Perfect.
wait on your thing, if you're gonna do one broadcast, and I'll just I'll tune into that. That way
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll keep it pretty simple for you guys too. So, okay, cool, sweet, awesome. Yeah, and again, Erica, like similar with the wizard things, right? Like you know what you need to focus on right now, and just kind of like really focus on like tending to that soil, kind of like what I was talking about in the post. Like you're growing a tree, so you gotta like tend to that soil. You gotta engineer the seed, and then like as time sort of grows, as time unfolds, then like naturally you'll be able to like start like inviting more people in and everything like that. But like don't feel that you're failing in any way. Like in fact, like this is a big shift for all of us, but like every single thing that we experience is a win. When we can really kind of get into that mindset that every single thing that we experience is a win, even when things may not feel like they're going to plan, if we can understand that that in itself is still a win because it's like helping us learn what to change and what to adjust and how to adapt, then like that in itself becomes very, very powerful. So Erica, like you are succeeding. You are succeeding simply by existing, simply by waking up, and you are a part of this like divine process where like yeah, things might be feeling like they're kind of like a little bit scattered and a little bit stressed, but that's only to allow you to figure out like how to make things more streamlined and just kind of like bring that ease into it. Because again, like you want to be in a place where you're being of service, but you're also being able to really like enjoy the excitement of the experience, right? Like you shouldn't, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're just kind of like, oh, like I don't want to do this, but now it's too late because I've already committed to it. Like really check in with yourself. Like, is this what you want to do? And how would it look? Like, how does it need to look in order for you to enjoy it in the best way possible? And then like know that that future can exist. Know that that future does exist. So cool. Okay, Erica, any other things before we pass the talk and stick around? Feeling pretty good?
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I'm just like, yes, thank you. Much gratitude to you.
Okay.
I needed everything you just said. Seriously,
Awesome.
thank you.
Sweet. Cool. And again, like as things kind of, as you start feeling more in that place of a little bit of ease, then allow that kind of creative process to flow into like creating videos and things like that, and getting back into like a routine with your content and stuff. So you know what you need to focus on right now, but definitely know that like the work you're doing right now is opening you up into more freedom. So it's just kind of like laying that groundwork. So cool. Okay. Totally. Awesome. Thank you, Erica. All right, okay, let's keep bouncing and talking. Stick around. Again, I want to be able to wrap up this hopefully either by 12 or just a little bit after, and we'll pass it to the next person. So we got Manders, Jenna, or Matthew. Who would like to go next? Manders? You have your microphone unmuted?
Hello,
Yeah, awesome.
hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Aloha and welcome back, Manders.
Hello. Finally. Yeah, okay. So, I really love that question. Who am I and where am I leading people? So that really helps me too, because the next step in my submission process here for the website was I was um, kind of writing out my awakening story and, just a little bit more about who I am as an introduction to people to kind of get an idea of where I come from and where I'm going. And so that really helps. And when you said that, I answered it myself too. And I was like, so where am I leading people? And the answer to that is to empowerment. But that definitely goes hand in hand with back to their own hearts. So I really love that. And I think that's a great reminder. And, anytime we're having struggles with all this, that's a good reminder to bring us back into, why are we here? Why are we doing this? We're here to inspire, we're here to educate, and hopefully it's entertaining. So as far as what I'm working on, I kind of ran out of Instagram posts, so I've got to start stockpiling again. And I have a couple of ideas of things that I want to focus on. And one being going back to the post I did on the website about minimalism, I want to expand on that with sacred spaces and really getting people to um, understand what that means, and how you can create sacred spaces around you. And you can do it anywhere. You can even do it, you know, when you're out in nature and things like that. But especially when you're in your own home, or even, you know, helping, I don't know, just helping people with understanding how to do that. And then something that we were talking a lot about yesterday that I think even Jenna was saying kind of helped calm her and helped make her feel better was we were talking about our spirit animals. And that's something that I want to learn more about, but also learn about what other people think about it and stuff like that. So that's something that I'm going to start doing some posts on to get some ideas from other people. My goal is to get back involved more with Facebook. Let's see. So I'm finishing my introduction blog, and then I'm gonna watch your video. I'm really glad you said that you're gonna make a tutorial video on Notion, because like I was saying yesterday, I'm a little bit feeling overwhelmed by it. So I think that'll help get me back into it. So I'll watch that and work on that today. And then let's see. Oh, one of the ideas I have is I want to start drawing my own content for Instagram. So like images that I have that I, like might see. I keep getting inspired. And I think one of the reasons for that was the other day, Turner asked me to sketch up something really quick for him. And I just sketched up the chakras and the elemental points that are connected. And I was like, wow, that was actually really fun and easy. It was like permission to have fun and draw. And so that's something that I think I want to really do more of and keep developing. So so I got a little bit in the works here that I'll be probably sending some stuff to you here to get approval for in the next day or two.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Manders.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you. Lucy wants to say hi.
Hi,
You want to say
Lucy.
hi?
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
Lucy. Good morning.
She's laughing.
Who is that? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome, Manders. And yeah, I think like in terms of just kind of checking in and stuff like that, like are you looking to get like individual sessions with people and do like readings with people in terms of like earning additional financial income and stuff? Is that part of your focus?
Yeah, that's absolutely part of my focus.
Yeah.
I haven't been focusing as much lately on that. I think I took a little bit of a break from that, but I'm definitely ready to start doing readings again and stuff like that. So yeah, that's something that I've got to probably once a week send out a reminder to people about doing readings and things like that.
Cool. Right on. Awesome.
I'll write that down too.
Yeah. Again, just keeping mindful of like how the generation of your Instagram stuff is also like leading to your clients, which is leading to financial revenue, which allows you to continue to create more content. And again, like a side note for everyone here in terms of like creating additional revenue and everything like that, I would recommend that everybody here, when you feel called to, create a Patreon profile. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have one, and it can just be like a cool way to begin like, again, creating content. And as you're doing it, you're inviting people to be able to support you through that monthly donation. Just make sure that like what you're giving in exchange is something viable that you can be able to reciprocate. I've actually had to learn a very hard lesson in terms of Patreon, where basically this is something that like I'm still recuperating from, where like I was a victim of my own success in terms of like inviting a bunch of people onto Patreon and then having to create all of these shifter booster kits and deliver them en masse to the point where it was actually like too much workload for me to do. And I'm literally still getting caught up on sending out shifter booster kits from like months ago, which is something I'm like, oh God, I feel horrible about that. But like, I know what I need to do in order to be able to prevent that from happening in the future. So like, if you are creating a Patreon, again, like what you can do is have like either maybe some kind of like exclusive access to content or some sort of like private meeting for Patreon supporters, or some sort of like simple item that you might be able to send them. And whether or not you expect them to be able to be ongoing supporters or just donate when you can, whatever works for you. But again, just having that Patreon there, again, Patreon is a platform for people to be able to support creators with monthly micro contributions or larger contributions is very beneficial. In addition, encouraging people to also make sure that they have their PayPal account as well, which again, they can use for like single donations through that method too. Because again, as more and more of us, as we start developing our content, I think it's going to be very beneficial to just sort of put out that invitation. And then there's a technique where as you're building your Instagram, you can literally just notice who's engaging with you and send out a message to them every once in a while and just be like, hey, thanks for checking out my content. Would you be interested in supporting with a monthly donation to be able to help continue the work I do for the community? And then out of that, you're going to get like at least 10% of the people who would be like, yeah, I totally resonate with your content because of the relationship that we're creating. I would love to support. And then again, if you invest in this over a couple months, like that could easily begin adding up to like an extra like $100, $200, which again, if you're starting that now, like that is like a seed that you're planting that can grow incredibly large over time. So again, I want to be able to give like more of a walkthrough and stuff on that, but for anybody here, side note, go ahead, create your own Patreon profile and just start looking on it at setting it up, because as a creator, you deserve to be able to be paid for the content that you're creating, for the service that you're providing. So yeah, I think it's really cool what you were saying, Manders, about being able to lead people to empowerment, also being able to get more involved with Facebook. Again, I do think that Facebook is an incredibly powerful platform. We want to be able to focus a lot on IG, but there's benefits to using Facebook, especially for the live broadcast in groups and things like that. And I love the idea of you like drawing content for Instagram. That definitely is in line with like myself creating content where I want to be able to create like digital drawn content for my own purposes as well. So yeah, Manders, again, just keep working on what you're working on, and as you even start getting videos up, just let me know and we can start getting those cataloged into the main as a shifter entry onto the website, and we'll begin publishing those over time. But in the meantime, just like keep like, yeah, like create what inspires you, like pick something that you're just like, what's the most exciting thing that I want to create right now? And then just kind of like begin working on that. Right.
I've been kind of trying to do that because like there was a moment where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then I realized like there's so many inspiring things just daily that pop into my life that I'm like I was talking about the spirit animal thing. It's like, because I watched a video and then we started talking about it. And so I'm trying to kind of be patient with that, as far as like the ideas will come, like daily inspiration happens, and so I am trying to, not get stressed about it or whatever, just let it happen kind of organically.
Yeah. And absolutely. Again, like the beauty of this is that there is no limit to the amount of content that we can create. And what this is a very, very important tip actually for everybody here. For your Instagram content, I highly recommend you to go out and start looking for books that will actually be useful for creating Instagram content. So as you begin to like read books and do like that, spending that time, you will be able to find little gems within these books. I'd be like, oh sweet, like that would actually be like something I can turn into a post. And in particular, you will find these books out there where they have like a bunch of like small sections or categories, or even some stuff where it's like 365 days of mindfulness tips or something like that. Honestly, like go buy one of those mindfulness calendars and use that to just kind of like draw inspiration from it. Your job as a creator is to seek like sources for your inspiration. That is like fuel for the content for your creation. So I've done that. Like I've actually just gone out and like purchased 2 books within the last day. And both of these books, like one of them is like a pocket book by like a Buddhist monk. So there's like 100 and little things in here. I'll just read one. This one's like super small. I'm just going to read it. So the title is Always Maintain a Joyful Mind. Constantly apply cheerfulness. If for no other reason than because you are on the spiritual path, have a sense of gratitude to everything, even difficult emotions, because of their potential to wake you up. So you can literally see that's like a small little thing. Even just that in itself, without having to copy it word for word, I can literally just like repurpose the same concept in my own words and turn that into a post. And then again, I'll flip to like a new page on the day of, and there's like another one here, loneliness. Usually we regard loneliness as an enemy. Heartache is not something we choose to invite in. It's restless and pregnant and hot with the desire to escape and find something or someone to keep us company. When we can rest in the middle, we begin to have non-threatening relationship with loneliness, a relaxing, cooling loneliness, and that completely turns our usual fear patterns upside down. So again, that's like that right there. That is a potential Instagram post. And then you can create like kind of a visual meme with text on it. You could even turn that into a little 1-minute video for your Instagram. You could even turn that into a 5-minute video for your YouTube. So again, go out, find books. Like obviously you can look stuff up on the internet, but honestly having books is useful because then you can kind of like flip to random pages and use the synchronicity technique of that. So go invest in books and resources that will help fuel you for inspiration. You should never have a day where you're just like, oh my God, like I'm out of ideas. I don't know what to post anymore. That's why you have the additional external resources to be able to help assist you. Don't feel as if you have to have every single piece of information in your mind all the time. Use external resources as an extension of your own consciousness. Use books, use Notion, use notepads. Start utilizing that and you'll actually like increase your capacity and your intelligence. So it's pretty powerful in that sense. So, Manders, just checking. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention, Manders, and I'll pass it back to you. In regards to creating the spirit animal post, one thing, and I literally saw a post about this yesterday, be very mindful about how some people perceive the whole spirit animal thing as cultural appropriation. And if anything, I think you should actually address that in whatever piece that you're creating while still kind of like making it into what you want to make it into. But I know a lot of people, they're just like, damn those white folks for taking our term spirit animal, and but you know I'm using white folks in a general term, but obviously like Native American people, they're just like, yeah, that's not quite what we meant that's not quite what we wanted people to take in as the term spirit animal, and now it's kind of become like a meme in itself. So just be aware of that. I'm not telling you not to do it, but even addressing that would actually add more credence to your post. So just something to keep in mind.
Okay,
But,
yeah. So yeah, I mean, we definitely want to be sensitive. And so basically what you're saying is like talk about maybe their origins or
yeah, if anything, just off the top of my head, like an actually like a really cool shifter entry that I would, if I was like browsing and I saw this, I would probably click on it, would be something about like I don't know the title yet, but it would be something about like the evolution of the term spirit animal and how it has transformed with modern culture. And maybe it's like, is that a cultural appropriation, or is that literally just consciousness like doing what it can to kind of adapt? Like should it just like stay what it was, or is it right that it changes? And now does it belong to other people? Does it belong to consciousness?
Consciousness has evolved. So that should, I mean, that part of it's going to evolve with it, just like everything else. I think this is huge. And this is actually part of the blog that I'm working on, is that I think that in the terms of waking up, everything's evolved. Like I think so much when we look at how much of what we talk about is in the mainstream nowadays, just little bits here and there sprinkled out in the mainstream. It's there, it's all over the place. And that's part of what I want to address in my blog, is that, there's just, there's little bits of it everywhere now. People are just slowly kind of getting a little bit more comfortable with it. And that's great for us.
yeah, totally. Yeah. And again, like, for everyone here, I just want to remind you, because I haven't fully emphasized this in past broadcasts, but it is something I want us to keep in mind, is that with the content that we're creating on the website, I want you to think about the idea that what we're creating is literally documenting the shift in consciousness. So you're kind of like taking a snapshot of where things are and where things are going. So, again, if you're like doing an event, like a yoga event, you go to that event with the purpose of documenting the shift in consciousness. Like, where is it at in this moment? And then, like you can kind of come back in like 6 months and you can be at a different event and you can see it's like it's slightly changing, or like more people are waking up. You're kind of literally a journalist for this experience. So keep that in mind, that each of us from our unique perspectives is being able to help hold up how consciousness is shifting. So instead of just being like, oh, here's a cool video about chakras, here's a cool video about lucid dreaming, it's like that ongoing process of like understanding the overarching transformation of how these themes are becoming more adaptive and relatable, and how people are understanding them and integrating them. And so literally like that bigger picture of the documentation of the shift in consciousness. So yeah, Manders, let's get ready to pass the talking stick to the next person. But anything else, how are you feeling? Do you feel like you kind of got an idea of what your next steps are and feeling inspired?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that actually even puts it into like a little bit more of a context box when you say that, of like documenting the shift. And so, that is kind of like our niche or our thing that sets us apart. And so I'm going to
Yeah,
really keep that in mind and solidify that. So, yeah, absolutely. I'm inspired.
perfect.
I'm pumped. You're really good at pumping people up. It's like
Get pumped.
it's like we're having a little pep rally.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Agreed. Totally
Totally,
agreed.
totally. Cool. Awesome.
Cool. Yeah, no, pass it on. I'm ready to go.
Awesome, sweet. And yeah, and again, like just the idea of documenting the shift in consciousness, like that's going to be a recurring thing that we'll go back to, because you're right, man. There's like the context of that. You're like, oh, okay, now I understand what I'm doing. I'm not just creating a cool video. I'm literally archiving something that aliens will be able to watch in 100 years from now and be like, that's where the human race was at that time. And then to actually be able to see that as a continuation of a story from one video to one post to the next to the next to the next, you'll actually begin to see that change, right? So very powerful stuff. Okay, and let's keep passing the talking stick around. Matthew or Jenna, if you would like to go next. Jenna, we'll pass it over to you. So again, just some updates on your progress in terms of conscious media content, where you're at, what you're focusing on, any feedback you want to get, please feel free to communicate that. So Jenna, go ahead when you're ready.
Hi. Yeah, so I have kind of just taken a step back. I'm going through dark souls of the night, I think that's what you guys call it. So I've pretty much just been doing, the Instagram content. And I haven't really been doing videos just because I know that energetically I'm not in the right place. And so I know when I'm like preaching to people, especially in front of, I don't want to say preaching, that's a horrible word, but when I'm trying to bring some kind of point out, I want to be in the right energetic space. People are perceiving that. So that is why I'm taking a step back from videos right now until I can raise my vibration, and get to that good point where my message can actually come across as genuine instead of just this fake stuff that I know that I'm not feeling. So I'm kind of just leading through inspiration and just taking care of myself right now, and getting myself back up to, the real me, the real Jenna. So that's where I'm at.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Jenna. And I think where you're at right now and just your acknowledgement of where you're at is incredibly important and also incredibly valuable. And even just be aware of like kind of like the words that you were saying, where you're just kind of like, like this isn't like trying to get back to like the real me and stuff like that, or even just the idea of like kind of like trying to get back to that high vibe and everything. Like I understand what you're saying there, but still just like fully acknowledging that like who you are right now and your process towards that is still the real you. So I mean, like whether you feel fully called to it or not, it may be something where instead of feeling like, oh, if I'm going to make a video, it has to be like, hey, like preppy, like poppy and like bubbly and stuff like that. Instead, like what would Jenna look like if she made a video talking about like the actual feeling of where her heart is right now? And that may be a part of that could be like something very cathartic for you, as well as something that you never know who's going to be watching the video, and there might be someone else who sees that and they might just be like, wow, like that's very brave of you to be able to share yourself in your vulnerability, Jenna. Like I actually like really resonate with this. So don't feel that, like inspirational content always needs to be this like high energy thing, like inspirational content can sometimes just be like raw and honest and vulnerable as well. So just kind of sit with that idea. Again, I'm not asking you to make anything. I'm asking you to take care of yourself and do what's best for you, as you're already doing. And again, I think the fact that you got that mindset is perfect, because you understand that like it's okay to take a step back. it is okay to just be able to focus on yourself, because again, that is an investment to being able to do what you need to do. And then when the time is right, you'll know when the time is right to be able to return back into your content and things like that. But don't feel that you have to have like always a certain, like, as if there's an expectation of who you need to be on your social media. The social media is your story, and you can kind of weave it how you want. And if that includes aspects where you're vulnerable, and even I've made videos of me crying on camera. I've done that, and those have been some of my most powerful videos. Like I made a video once where it was like literally like a video like talking, like it wasn't directly talking about a breakup that I went through, but it was like kind of like talking about it in a general sense, and it was like very important for me to be able to make. And then the fact that other people enjoyed it was just like a bonus and stuff. So like the process of journaling, whether that be on video or written, can be very cathartic. So just be aware of like how that you may even want to film a video that may not even get published. It may just be for you. So just keep that in mind, that the cameras, the journals, like they're theirs as tools to help you kind of talk to yourself and see yourself, and you may almost surprise yourself as to like what may come out in those moments if you feel called to. So, but yeah, Jenna, thank you.
I really do. And I think that, obviously, like, we are our own hardest critics. Like, we really are, and, I've talked to you guys about it before, but like my polarity is great. Like, I have extremes, and that's what I love most about me. Like, that is what I value most about who Jenna is I do take on the extremes. And as much as I may feel extreme pain, like I feel extreme love. Like I feel extreme amounts of that, and I think just having that support and, it really does help. Like I know I'm really resilient, and I think you made a good point. Like maybe I should, talk about this idea of like the dark soul nights, that the spiritual journey isn't always a peaceful and loving journey. Like there's so much pain on the spiritual journey. There's so much just empathy and depression. So that's definitely an idea. I think it takes a lot of courage, and it's something you have to work yourself up to. I know, couple weeks ago, I accidentally went to go send the Shifter sisters, like Mandos and Tamara, a video about, and I was crying, and I accidentally sent it to my Snap story. And oh my God, my heart was just broken because I was like, oh my God, like 40 people saw me just hysterically crying and blah, blah. So, but it takes courage, but I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah. And thank you again, Jenna. Again, like here as a community, it's important for us to be able to know that, like, yeah, the ups and downs are a part of the journey. So we're not trying to like hide that from ourselves, most importantly. And it's interesting, Jenna, because you're saying here, you're using the term, you've used it twice. You said dark souls of the night. The term that is commonly used is dark nights of the soul.
Oh,
But to be honest, I'm just kind of thinking, I'm like that slight switch, like almost like changes the story, because it's like dark souls, like what is going on there? Dark souls of the night. It sounds like this like kind of like haunting image or something. Whereas dark night of the souls, for me, that slight shift, it's dark nights of the soul, dark night of the soul. The positive side of that is knowing that the dawn will come. So it's kind of like, whereas like dark souls of the night, it's just like, oh God, I'm stuck in this nighttime and there's dark souls after me. But dark nights of the soul is like, okay, you're moving through this, but the sun will rise and you will make it out of it. So I know we're kind of saying the same thing, but it's just interesting to kind of hear. It's just like, oh, okay,
that's fine.
Both
well, I guess that shows
way,
where I'm at too, like where I see the light. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like to think so, but
yeah.
I appreciate you guys just holding space and working with me, and I'll be a sun again.
Yeah, look to the horizon and you will meet the dawn. So it is that. You'll find it. So because it's like just a matter of time. So, and it will show up and be like ready, be like already feel the vibration of like you like meeting that sunrise as it rises, like it without rushing it. Like you kind of like running towards the sunset isn't going to make it rise quicker. Rather, the sun will come to meet you, and just be ready for it when it does. So little story there. So yeah.
And I think I'm just, on the spiritual journey that everything that we see is just the vibration within us. So it's like, okay, well, even if I seek out external factors, is that really helping me at all? Because I know that these external factors that I'm manifesting towards are purely just manifestation. It starts with internally. And I think sometimes that's where you get stuck too when you go through your awakening, is that everything you see is just the vibration that's within you. So it's like, okay, well, then where do I start if the vibration's bad and everything I'm seeing is bad? You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
yeah, everything's good. Everything will, what goes down must come up.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and again, like, don't don't put try not to put too much pressure on yourself. Try not to kind of get into the story where it's like, oh my god, I am the cause of my environment. Like, sometimes, like, our environment is out of our control, and
Do you believe
literally,
that? Because I guess I don't. Maybe that's where I get stuck. But I truly believe everything we see is manifestation.
I think how we
Like
respond
perspective.
to everything is a reflection of where we're at. But I do not think that we fully have control over everything that comes to us. I think on a higher level, it's destined for certain things to come to us at certain times so that we can meet it with a vibration to be able to see how we're responded to. But like to sort of like put the weight of being like, oh my god, like something horrible happened in my environment, this is my doing. I don't I don't choose to see it that way. And and
Yeah.
and and, and
And
I
maybe
feel
that's
like,
a lesson I need to learn.
yeah, kind of like, take some of the weight off your shoulders. You are not fully responsible for what has happened, but you are fully responsible for how you respond to it. That slight little shift is like, can be like a big change. So yeah.
Well, thank you.
Okay,
We
thank you
can
again,
pass
Jenna.
the talking
All right,
stick.
I just want everyone here just gently just like unmute themselves and send Jenna some extra love. So just go ahead, everyone. So
Yeah.
we love
Absolutely.
you, Jenna.
Loving you, girl.
We love you.
Yes, we do.
Love you.
There we go. All right,
Yes.
she's smiling. I can hear it. So
Big hugs, girl. Big hugs. You got this.
thank
You
you,
guys
Jenna.
are so cute. You guys are so cute. Thank you.
Cool, awesome. All right, thank you again, Jenna. And let's keep moving around here. And we still have Matthew, and then we're gonna wrap up the broadcast. So Matthew, if you're there, if you want to jump in and again just share some updates, please feel free to do that now. Matthew, go ahead.
Yeah, I just came in to check in. I like when I have the occasion. I've posted the draft, so might work on that. Well, might check on you eventually for the video. Other than that, I've it's been like 2 weeks of nonstop working for me. I'm going on vacation right now, so I'll be able to. But yeah, no, just checking in. Like, I love that space, so it's just really nice to listen to everyone. But otherwise, I'm working on another video. But I like the idea of vulnerability. It's been very hard for me too. So trying to get in that space where you're always like happy to create and you don't feel bad when things doesn't happen the way you want. So yeah, just being aware of yourself, where you stand, and try to accept like the harder time and make the best of it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for holding that space always, and it's a really nice place to get inspired, to get into the groove of just setting yourself goals and keeping like true to what you want to do. Helping people to connect with their heart. I like that idea. Oh, and for the books, I actually had that thing I'm setting. Like, I'm getting a lot of content for Instagram, and I actually like I use Audible half of the time because I like reading, but sometimes it's too much. So I like to use Audible too to find more inspiration, and I found it was very useful. So there's a little thing over there.
Awesome.
That's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you, Matthew, for the update. And yeah, I saw you post in the, I didn't get back to it right just yet, but I saw in the Ready for Review, you posted like a new thumbnail image for the YouTube. I think either one of those can work. So I think it kind of, if anything, I would say maybe the second one, just because the text kind of stands out more on the solid background. Or even just like increasing the opacity like making it solid in the top one so that it's just like popping out a little bit more, and even changing the font so that maybe it's probably a little bit bigger. Actually, that would be my suggestion. Change the font so it's a little bit bigger. The second one, just kind of lay out the font so that the text size is consistent and legible, like on screen size from a distance sort of thing. So but yeah, and so far, so you have 2 videos that have been on your YouTube currently, yes? Okay, so
Yeah.
sorry, seven videos. So again, I was just thinking like the 2 recent ones. So like even again, let me go back and make sure that like they're like what I'm looking for, and I'm sure they're already fine. I just want to make sure I'm doing that protocol. But again, even any of those is things that you can like also submit as a shifter entry as well, if you're feeling that it's
There's
something
still
that
a
you
lot
want to.
of work to do. Like the retention rate isn't amazing. Obviously, like I'm new to this and I'm working to improve it. I think the best one would be like what is Apness? It's a shorter one, and it was more like it's almost poetry in some kind of way. It's shorter, sweeter. So yeah, I'll get back to you. I have so many days off. I'll be able to get around and like updates everything so it's like sharp, more clean. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. That sounds wonderful. And yeah, again, I think like just keep you're like, I'm looking forward to just being able to, like see how your vacation unfolds, because I think when you have that space to get creative, you definitely create some like very powerful content. So yeah, and again, and the fact that like it's still something that is like you're learning, and each one's getting like a little bit better. You're kind of like figuring out kind of like different styles and different forms of expression. So yeah, no, huge thumbs up, man. Thank you again for the work that you're doing. So much appreciated. And you do have your Instagram profile up, and you're starting to post on that?
I haven't started to post on that because I want to create a bank of posts before I start, so I can get rolling.
Yeah.
But I've started to create notes of citation. Is that in my Evernote, so I can work on these primarily, and then I'll try to edit, like to make posts as well for the videos, so I can like go back and forth and see how things goes from there. Obviously, I need to learn a little bit more about Instagram too, so I'll do all of these along.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm getting there. Like it's at first I wanted to post one video every 2 weeks. I realized it's not that much, so I'm just trying to figure out like how can I set myself a schedule, as you said, like just to make sure that once I started, like it's really gotta keep going. I'll have that workflow that's already there, right?
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, man. And you mentioned Evernote. Once we I would recommend probably switching to Notion. Like again, I use Evernote, but essentially everything that Evernote can do, you can also do in Notion, even with like more things. So yeah, like, and again, I'll help everyone get set up with that. But yeah, for everyone here, like there's a huge benefit to being able to spend some time creating a catalog of posts to be able to put online. And that's actually like something that I'm doing too, because again, for me to be in my daily routine, instead of being like, okay, time to create a post and I have to spend 30 minutes on the spot, what if I already have those posts already created and it's just like right there and it's ready. And so yeah, and again, we'll work more with the Instagram. And for everyone here, make sure that I have your Instagram account, which I believe I do for everyone here, but I'm going to start adding each person here to the shared Instagram on the main website. And then what's going to happen is that anytime that you use the hashtag Paradigm Shift Central in one of your posts, it will show up on the main Paradigm Shift Central website. So that's very powerful, though at this point, I would encourage you to only use that hashtag in maybe like 3 posts a week. So we're going to kind of like mitigate it that way so it just doesn't like overflow the stream in that sense. So yeah, and again, if you have any questions on that, just let me know. But again, we're slowly, again, like with when it comes to like, companies, and when it comes to projects, and when it comes to building enterprises, like the key trick to all of it is really basically the idea of start small, be consistent, and think big. you know? So like that mindset. A lot of times we try and do everything at once and so many bells and whistles, but then like that actually isn't the best way. Start small, add in additional things as you go, but then be consistent and think big. So but yeah, with that said, I feel really, really, again, just super grateful for everyone here in the co-op who's listening to this, for those of you listening into the future as well. I'm very, very excited to be able to begin sharing what we're creating with the larger community. Just to give you guys a little bit of additional hope and inspiration, the post that I put up this morning on Instagram, which is the one of Gandalf the White, and it says, "A wizard is never late, nor are they early. They arrive precisely when they intend to." Which I wrote with like a lot of intention. That video, from posting it 2 hours ago, currently has 350 likes on Instagram. So like even just there, that was my like first post actually back, and you can already see it's just like, yes, okay, there's an audience there. So now for me, again, my part of my job is focusing on the Instagram, and I know that with the quality content that I'm capable of creating, there's going to be a good amount of traffic, and that traffic is going to be shared amongst us as a team. So that's like a very powerful idea. And let me just reread here to finish off the broadcast what I posted on Instagram for those of you who haven't seen it. And again, just to kind of create context here as we wrap up this meeting. As time unfolds and as the story continues, it is with deep humility and purpose that I speak to you now, my friends. Many who have come to know me over these past many moons have known me by both my presence and my absence. Yet, like the seasons, like the waves, and like the breath, I had never truly left. Rather, I was merely where I was called to. For you see, as an apprentice to the wizardry of the universe, I know that every story has chapters, that every end is a new beginning, that in order to bear new fruit, you must be willing to plant a new tree. And so, this is why I am returning now, because a new tree has been planted, and after spending the past while engineering the seed and tending to the soils, it is now time to call upon the community to assist in patiently supporting its growth with our shared love and devotion. The tree I speak of is the Paradigm Shift Central Community Project, a portal for inspirational conscious community media featuring content from myself and others. The fruit it bears is our potential, a path back to the heart, and the ripple effects of this actualization process. And so, yes, my friends, my fellow wizards, I have returned, stronger, anew, and as devoted as I have ever been to the bigger story of our shift in consciousness, the one which we are co-creating together. And then from there, it just invites them to be able to explore the website and inviting people to leave some comments. And there's about 30 comments on it so far of people who are just like saying like, yes, we're with you type thing. So there you go, team. We are in good position. We are right where we need to be. And again, like, I know that this project has so much potential because I know like where our heart's at. And for every person here, I just thank you for like echoing that, to know that like, yeah, this is something where it's going to be fun, it's going to be exciting, but this is also like the bigger service, the bigger mission. This is something that we're doing to literally like help make a difference in this world. So thank you again, everyone, for contributing in their own ways. So before we wrap up this broadcast, I just want to be able to check in if anybody has any either quick questions or gratitude that they want to be able to express. Please feel free to unmute their microphones and do that now. Let me know how, on a scale of 1 to pumped, how pumped up are you right now? So.
Woo woo.
I'm off the scale.
I'm pumped.
You're pumped. You're on that far tip of the scale. You are pumped. You're from all the way there.
Magically pumped.
Magically pumped. That's a good pumped. So cool. Awesome. All right. Thank you again, everyone. I'm looking forward to doing more of this. So, yeah, again, today at 3:30, I'm going to do a quick broadcast of leading the shift. If anybody wants to volunteer to get in on that, please feel free. Manders, or Erica, do you want to grab that spot? 3:30 today? Yeah.
Sure.
There we go. All right, and then we'll start creating a list and stuff of other people who want to jump in on that. The next one would be on Monday, and then again Thursday, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, team roundtable. If you're there for it, talking about the importance of conscious media. So yeah, if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to message me on the side. If you need me to review anything, I'll be around for that, and I'll get things set up for the Notion and get you guys coordinated on that so you can use it as soon as possible. So yeah. Awesome meeting everyone. I'm super pumped.
Awesome.
Thank you again, everyone, and join me in saying farewell and much love to everyone tuned into this into the future. So
Much
thank you,
love.
everyone. We
Thank
love you.
you.
Hello. Take care.
All right. Until next time, keep it shifty. We'll see you in the future. Pew 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 pew.
You.
Pew pew.